Hello, and welcome to today's live stream. Today, I'm going to be talking about hashtags and how they work on Twitter. I'm going to be running through what they are, how they work, when you should use them, how you should use them. And I'm also right at the end going to be giving you a warning about some hashtags and why it's so important. You should do some research on your Twitter hashtags because you could get into some very dangerous water if you inadvertently use the wrong hashtag. So do stay to the end and find out why Twitter hashtags need to be checked and do your research. So if you've got any questions, please do post them in the in the comments during this live stream, and do give me a thumbs up and like and subscribe to my channel, where I share lots of tips and advice on social media every week. So I'm Bex from Social Media Executive, and I train businesses on social media. I train you all how to get the best return on investment for as little time as possible on social media by using it very strategically and very easily once you know how and what you're doing. So again, please do say hello. Oh, hi, Amanda. Nice to see you. Thanks for saying hello. Please do say hello, introduce yourselves. Share your Twitter handle. Yeah, share your Twitter handle today. We can all follow each other on Twitter and see what we're doing. Right, so Twitter hashtags then. How exactly do they work? So first of all, let's go back to basics. What exactly is a hashtag? Now I'm going to share my screen for this live stream because I think it's a lot easier if I demonstrate on Twitter. So I'm just going to add me to the stream, just bear with me, and we're going to jump on live onto Twitter. Okay, right, so hopefully you can see my Twitter screen here. I'm just going to increase my screen a little bit so that you can see that. Right, so if we go onto Twitter, I'm going to click onto my profile here. So this is my profile. Now, a hashtag, if we scroll down, here's a little tweet, for example, that I did. A hashtag is basically a word or phrase that relates to the tweet that you've done, okay? So hashtag social media training, like I've used here, as I hover over it, you can see it actually highlights. And if we click through, we can click actually taking me through to a whole load of other tweets that have got that hashtag, okay? So a hashtag is just a word or phrase that relates to your tweet, and it's basically a filing system. I like to call it a filing system of putting your tweets in a subject area of everybody else who's tweeting about that subject area on Twitter, okay? Now, they're not case sensitive. So, for example, these ones I've put here, Cheshire and Warrington, I put a capital C for Cheshire, capital W. Again, it's not case sensitive, but actually for that one, if I'd have put a capital S, M and T, it's a lot easier to read. And actually people with sight loss, it's much more accessible if you use capital letters to space out each word. So as you can see, a hashtag can be a word or phrase with no spaces. If you put any spaces on, it won't work. So there's no spaces, okay? So they work to file and pull all that information together in one place. So how should you use them? How should you use these hashtags? Well, I'm going to show you an example. So I'm just going to scroll down here. I'm going to look at some TEDx ones. So I'm on the organising team for TEDx Warrington. So we've been doing a lot of tweets around this event. These hashtags are phenomenal for events or a subject area. So the hashtags that I'm using for these ones is hashtag TEDx Warrington. So if we click through into hashtag TEDx Warrington, this is a unique hashtag that relates to our event. So you can more or less guarantee that anybody who uses that hashtag, their posts will end up here. And as we scroll down here, you can see these are all the different posts. I've used that hashtag. They are all filed all in this nice place on Twitter. So if people want information about TEDx Warrington, all they do in the searches is they just type in here, hashtag TEDx Warrington, and then click search. And all these hashtags appear here. Okay. So you should always use them in your post. You should always use ones that actually relate to what you are talking about. You can search, put the hashtag in, you can look at top, you can look at latest. So these are the latest ones. You can look at people who are related to that hashtag, or you can bring up photos, any photos that have got a tweet with the hashtag TEDx Warrington. Okay. So a hashtag is a really simple way of bringing really interesting subject areas together in one place. Phenomenally important on Twitter because people are using and researching these hashtags all the time. People will look and follow certain hashtags in an area of interest. So if you are using that hashtag, your tweets are going to get seen by a lot more people. So don't forget that if I jump onto my profile, I've got 644 followers, okay? If I write a tweet, then that tweet may go into the newsfeed of those followers. But if I add a hashtag in, then it's actually reaching anybody on Twitter who might be searching for the hashtag, not just my followers. So tweets are phenomenally powerful for reaching a lot more people than who follow you, okay? So again, use these hashtags very, very strategically. And again, if you are not quite sure how to use hashtags or you'd want a little bit more about a strategy, I do have a workshop coming up on Twitter. So before we jump on to be careful, not how do we know what tweets, what hashtags you shouldn't be using, which I'm going to tell you in a minute. Just to let you know, I do have a workshop coming up as well, because hashtags, there is a strategy behind it. You do need to have a strategy if you want to reach your ideal audience, okay? So basically, if you need help with Twitter, then I have got a workshop coming up. And if you have a look here, I've got a workshop coming up and we're doing an hour a day over 4 days on Zoom. And I'm going to teach you exactly how to basically use Twitter. So this is what it's about. So if you need help, then come to my workshop. It's only £103 if you live in Cheshire, or only £172 for all 4 sessions. Okay, so I'm going to put that in the chat for you so you've got that. Okay. Oh, hi, Debbie, nice to see you. Right then, so I do have a word of warning when it comes to using hashtags on Twitter. Basically, some people use hashtags. You get trending hashtags. Okay, so if we go in the home screen, you'll find hashtags that are trending. Okay, now people like to jump on these trending hashtags, and this can be very dangerous. And I'll give you an example. So there's a hashtag called Why I Stayed. Yeah, so hashtag Why I Stayed is all about domestic abuse, okay, and supporting individuals through domestic abuse, and it's a commonly known hashtag, okay. But unfortunately, for one pizza place, they actually jumped on it without looking into what that hashtag meant, and on their campaign, they started using hashtag Why I Stayed because you had pizza. And this is the infamous tweet that they did. Again, it's quite an old tweet, but it is still trending, as you can see. You know, it's still trending on Twitter. They got so much abuse for this because they'd not actually researched the hashtag and what it meant and what it meant to the people that followed that hashtag. So they trivialized domestic abuse, or they seemed to. They probably didn't know, but they've not researched it. But they seem to trivialize domestic abuse. So they did hashtag Why I Stayed, you had pizza. Okay. So again, this is not uncommon. I've worked with a number of organizations who have created a whole campaign using hashtags, putting it on printed material, and lo and behold, they've then gone and looked at actually what this hashtag on Twitter means. and unfortunately they've had to pull the campaign and lost thousands of pounds on printed material and had to redo all their marketing. So it does happen. So whatever you do research your hashtags on Twitter. So basically, write your tweets, include your hashtags. They can be within the text, or you can just put them at the end like I've done here. But if there's anything you're going to do, if you are on Twitter, please, please, please always include hashtags. Otherwise, you are wasting a valuable resource, a valuable tool on Twitter that can really help you to reach a lot more people with your tweets. Okay. So again, there's loads more things you can do on Twitter. We've got Twitter lists where you can file and you can follow certain accounts. You can create public lists that people follow the list that you're creating around certain topics that you might be interested in. Twitter is absolutely phenomenal. Twitter is the social media place that basically promotes breaking news. Journalists are on there, researchers are on there. You can guarantee that if any news goes out, it goes out on Twitter first. It's an absolutely phenomenal platform. We've got 335 million active users every month. So again, make sure that you are using Twitter, using it strategically. And again, if you need help, come along to my Twitter workshop at the end of the month and I'd be more than happy to help. I've put the link in the comments. We'd love to see you there. It's limited to 10, so I've still got a few places left, so do come along to that. So that's about Twitter. If you've got any questions, please do put them in the comments below. Please do give this video a like if you found it useful, and make sure that you are following my social media channels to get more tips and advice on social media. And I'll see you again next week at 12:30. Thanks for watching, everyone. See you again soon. Bye.